An epic game. It got me out of my dormancy. I've got to talk about this. The big game, Bucks, Suns. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys. So a lot of these games between the Bucks and the Suns have been decided with kind of big margins. So we were kind of due for a big time game, and tonight we absolutely got it. It was a close one. It was hard fought. There were a lot of storylines. Let's talk about the Suns first, and then we'll talk about the Bucks. If you're going to talk about the Suns, you've got to talk about Devin Booker, who was fantastic tonight. Booker has just been incredibly efficient in this series. Tonight, well, in this game. In this series, he's been actually not quite as good as you would like. He hasn't been as dominant as he has in other games in the other playoff series this year. But tonight, Devin Booker was absolutely dominant. And if you look at his numbers, Devin Booker tonight, let's see, 42 points. He scored 17 of 28, which is 60% field goal percentage. That's 28 shots. He was the offense. I mean, he absolutely carried that Suns offense because you just did not get a lot from Chris Paul. And so Devin Booker showed tonight that in the finals, on the biggest stage, he can have monster games like this. Now, game 3, he did not have a big game. He struggled. But tonight, he was absolutely epic. He was 0 for 3 from 3, but you know what? Devin Booker's game is the mid-range, and finding that mid-range pull-up, he is strong, and he uses his strength to either get to the free throw line or get his shot off. He was fantastic. You've just got to give credit to Devin Booker. He was 8 for 9 from the free throw line. Only, 4 turnovers with only 2 assists. But the reason he was not assisting is because he was the team's offense. You've got some pretty nice nights from a few other guys. You had Mikal Bridges was efficient, but not a lot of shots. 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. And then you had Cam Johnson, who has shown to be just such an awesome pickup for them. 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. He hit big shots, and he was hitting shots in the fourth quarter. If you don't have Cam Johnson doing what he was doing in this game, this is probably a relatively easy Bucks win. Jazz going all the way, DW. Jazz going all the way from DW. Well, maybe next year, maybe. 199. Thank you, DW. I appreciate it. Anyways, that's all, the Suns, the thing you've got to watch out for here a little bit is Chris Paul struggling. Now, I don't know. It's one of two things, and both are pretty troubling if you're a Suns fan. Is he injured? We kind of saw him hinting at some sort of injury, grabbing his left hand, things like that. He's playing through something, and maybe it's catching up with him, especially since this guy's, he's not in his 20s anymore. He's in his 30s. And as a 30-year-old who seems to have a neck pain of a different sort every single night, and my biggest activity is getting up and down from the couch and clicking on this mouse, for someone like Chris Paul, who is like going out and playing at the highest level, you've got to, what's the word? I'm a little bespoke. You've got to admit that he's probably at some point, these injuries or ailing things are catching up to him. So Chris Paul is dealing with something, or maybe the Bucks have figured something out with him. Jrue Holliday had a terrible offensive night tonight, and I don't know if it's Jrue Holiday's defense that's able to kind of slow down Chris Paul. Jrue Holiday is guarding Chris Paul more often, so you've probably got a little bit of that. But is Chris Paul hurt, or are the Bucks figuring it out? Either way, not good for the Suns. You hope that whatever is going on, if you're a Suns fan, he can figure it out or just get healthy, whichever it is. But when you're playing in the finals, you're getting 100% effort every single night from each team. They're only playing their best guys or the guys they trust to be on the floor, and that's interesting. But you know what? One thing you've got to give credit to for the Suns as well is DeAndre Ayton has actually he's just proven to be such a dominant force in this league. He has absolutely lived up. I mean, number one overall pick, people were wondering, and I wondered if this guy was just kind of a super, just a nice big, but if you're getting a number one overall pick and all you end up with is just kind of like a starter level big, that's disappointing, especially when you see players like Trae Young and Luka Doncic going after him. But DeAndre Ayton has turned out to be just such an absolute dominant inside big for them. He can punish guys when they switch and go small, and he has little baby hooks. He has a nice little mid-range pull-up that he buries with consistency, and he's a big-time rebounder. Tonight, 17 rebounds for Ayton. He's just a big body, and he's just become just such a nice defensive center. He is a nice all-around center for them. And he plays perfectly off of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. They are allowed to get buckets and do what they do, while he does all the things that help a team win. Defense, rebounding, drop coverage in the pick and roll. He actually is, pretty swift on his feet, so he can move to the perimeter when he needs to at times. He can guard. He's tough. He's a very good isolation defender against other bigs. And so you can't ask much more from DeAndre Ayton than you're getting. But tonight he was 3 for 9, so not the best game, but 17 rebounds and 5 assists for 6 points. That's pretty solid stuff. You don't see a lot of the ball being spread around. You had Jay Crowder, who it seemed like he had a better shooting night than he actually did. 3 for 10 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3. That's Jay Crowder's game. When Jay Crowder is hitting threes, that's when his offense is really efficient and good. When it's not falling, he does not provide a lot. He's not a great finisher at the rim, and he's not a great, Jay Crowder takes spot up threes. That's Jay Crowder's offensive game. Everything else is suspect. And he can play defense, and he plays tough, and he's a guy you want on the floor. But if he's not hitting his threes, he's not super efficient. So it's a little troubling for the Suns as well that their second biggest scorer was Jay Crowder with 15 points. And then you have Devin Booker with 42. That's great that Booker can score like that, but you really did not have a lot of other people on the floor contributing. And whether that's Devin Booker taking all those shots, although he was super efficient, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But if you have the Devin Booker show, it seems like the Bucks are okay with that, because if they can slow down Devin Booker a little bit in those situations, it's pretty good. All right, before we go to the Bucks, let's talk about Manscape.com. The sun's out and bums are out, and hopefully your pubes are not out. Guys, these lines I read these every night without shame, so I hope you appreciate this. Also, flip-flop season is upon us, and you're out here with those post-pandemic toenails. Don't worry, our friends at Manscaped have you covered. They just launched their 4th generation performance package and their Shears 2.0 nail grooming kit. Join the Manscaped movement by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with HoopsNerd20. Let's see, what other great line are we going to have? Use the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver. Yes, those are creams for your manhood. And what they do is not what you think. They are there to improve your follicle functioning. All right. Ball toner to keep you on your game in the heat. That's right. You don't want a swampiness in your trousers. Get the ball deodorant. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code HoopsNerd20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code HoopsNerd20 at manscaped.com. Tame that summer swamp in your pants with Manscaped. Guys, go do it. It'll save you lots of money, $20 to $30 at least, and it's worth it. It's awesome. I really, really like it. All right. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, guys. Milwaukee Bucks, this was about as fun a game as I've seen from this team in terms of just hitting big shots and overcoming adversity. We talked about the Suns. What we did not talk about is that the Bucks were also playing against sixth man tonight, and they were the Zebras. It was the NBA officials who would not call that foul at the end of the game twice on Devin Booker. One where it's a breakaway. He literally bear hugs. I can't remember. Was it Jrue Holliday? I can't remember. Or Khris Middleton on the shot, and they just hold the whistle. Thank goodness. The shot that was missed because of the foul that everyone saw and noticed, except for apparently the 3 officials whose job is to look for fouls. Luckily, there was the putback and the bucket. If that putback did not happen, this would have been one of the greatest travesties in NBA Finals history. Would have been absolutely ridiculous. And luckily it turned. And luckily the Bucks, behind just incredible play from Khris Middleton and Giannis. Unbelievable. Giannis with absolutely one of the most epic, iconic blocks you'll ever see. He's in drop coverage covering both the ball handler and the rolling big. He watches that ball handler, so if they take that floater, he's going to take that block. But he backs up and takes just perfect positioning. When that lob goes to Ayton, Giannis turns around like a god titan, turns and blocks the shot off the backboard. You'll never see a blocked shot like that ever. Honestly, by anyone. There's only a few other bigs that maybe can do that. Maybe Rudy Gobert. Giannis does that, but then on the other end, he's handling the ball. He's just absolutely an elite, epic player. And these finals have proved that he's just easily, arguably, the best player in the league or one of. He is definitely in terms of just physical tools and athleticism, the best. Absolutely. Because of what he's able to do, because of plays like that. When you're able to do that on the defensive end and then on the offensive end, you just absolutely put so much pressure on the defense with his just incredible ability to get to the rim and score. And he didn't even have the most impressive night tonight. I mean, I say that and he still scored 26 points, 11 for 19 from the field, 57%. This was like an off night for Giannis. So if you're a Bucks fan, you've got to be pretty excited about that. He did have 14 rebounds and 8 assists. Just an absolutely epic night. But the other guy that the Bucks don't win the game without is Khris Middleton. Khris Middleton, who showed up in a monster way. 45% from the field on 33 shots. He went toe-to-toe with Devin Booker. Absolutely. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover. Booker had 4 turnovers. Middleton was incredible tonight. He was a plus 10 with 40 points. 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Absolutely outdueled Devin Booker, who apparently is the NBA's golden boy for this series. Make a wish, guy, because the refs and everyone was just trying to keep him in that game. My goodness. Can we lay off a little bit of the Kobe be a legend talk? My gosh. Can we just appreciate what Giannis and Middleton did tonight and stop this love fest with Devin Booker? I'm sorry. Guess what? Phoenix is pretty close to LA, but it's not LA, all right? Let's cool it. You still have to fly there, okay? Okay? It's not the Arizona Lakers, all right? It's just not. The Milwaukee Bucks are here, and they are proving that they are dominant, and there's a few things you got to be pretty excited about if you're a Bucks fan. Because guess what? Tonight you had an absolutely atrocious offensive night from Jrue Holliday. 4 for 20 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. The Bucks still win. Still win. So if anyone says, well, Chris Paul had an off night, guess what? Chris Paul's night was better than Jrue's night. Jrue was just poor decision, and I'm talking offensively, offensive end, because defensively, he was just Jrue Holliday being solid, and Jrue is figuring out Chris Paul and Devin Booker. That guy is absolutely elite, and you've got to wonder a little bit if a lot of this is just him putting energy and defending those guys, and so you absolutely need Middleton and Giannis to show up on the offensive end, because Jrue is point of the attack, and he is absolutely the most important guy on defense for them, because he is the one guarding Booker and Chris Paul, and he's given everything he's got, and he was a +8 in this game. Imagine being that good of a defender that you are 4 for 20 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, and you're a +8 for the game. That tells you something. It also could tell you that being on the floor with Giannis and Middleton helps you out. So I don't know. Maybe go back and watch the film. We'll see. But I'm a Jrue Holiday fan. I'm rooting for him to have 2 more big offensive games, because that's all you need if you're the Bucks. Same with the Suns. You just need 2 big games. And if the Bucks can go into Phoenix and get a big offensive night, just a nice shooting night from Middleton with that defense, then you come home and things are different. So big night from the Milwaukee Bucks. Big night from Khris Middleton. The other thing that's interesting is I just don't know how much you can play Brook Lopez. He was a -13 in this game, and he does bring some nice things, but man, they just seem to be able to figure things out. Bobby Portis has been just a monster for this team. He plays 20 minutes to Brook Lopez's 19. He had some big rebounds at the end of the game. He was a +7. I love the energy from Bobby Portis. You just love what he brings. 5 rebounds in those 20 minutes. 3 points, you'll take it, but he just rebounds and defends, and he hit 1 3. And that three, is kind of the difference. So Bobby Portis is out here doing big-time stuff. Brook Lopez 0 for 5 from 3. You need something from him if he's going to be on the floor. Otherwise, you've got to get other people on the floor. It is nice to have his size, but the Suns have kind of figured out how to maneuver around him a little bit. So the other guy that drives me crazy, and it's the wildest plus-minus of the night, is Pat Connaughton. How he's a plus 21 is makes no sense to me, because he makes so many. He'll hit threes that are a monster, and you're happy. And he's 3 for 7 tonight, 42%, 9 rebounds. So he's doing all the little things that let you win. He's also doing the little things like fouling jump shooters. And if he could stop it with the 4 personal fouls, fouling shooters, like if you hit a 3 on the other end and you go to the other side and you foul jump shooter, drives me crazy. Pat Connaughton, stop being Pat, cough it up a ton, all right? Be Pat Connaughton, all right? Make shots, defend, stop fouling. It drives me crazy. He's an athletic guy, and he does a lot of nice things, but stop fouling. Stop making bonehead plays. Bonehead fouls drive me nuts. And I know the refs were literally, taking calls from Adam Silver and, the ghost of Kobe, apparently, for Devin Booker, because that was ridiculous. That was an embarrassment for the NBA tonight. That was an embarrassment. That was terrible. The NBA officials should be ashamed of that no call. And then a second one. There was an and one at the end of the game. They still didn't call it. I mean, is the Mafia in on this? Did they call foul on Booker or someone getting offed? What's going on here, NBA? Figure it out. Be honest. Figure it out. All right? All right, guys. I got to end this video. I said so many things, nice things about the Suns. I might go vomit. But anyways, like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And if you want to join the chat, just make sure you join the channel. Let's see a little bit. DW, read the rest of my message. Series going 7. You're right, DW. It might. Although I liked the Bucks chant. Bucks in 6. Let's see. Kenny, how would the Jazz have done in this situation? I don't think great, because the Jazz do not have perimeter defenders. The Jazz do not have a Jrue Holliday to lock down some of these guys. Like, Royce O'Neal's nice, but man, he's a streaky defender, and they ask too much of him. And the Jazz have not built their team to have perimeter defense. They've just not. Book got lucky on that one. Block of the century. Absolutely. Lee Christensen, apparently I don't care what team is playing. I still wait up for your post games. That's why Lee Christensen drives the lane to the Hall of Fame, baby. I like the Mafia theory. Yeah, it's probably about what we're at when you have that bad of a call. How can everyone watching the play, literally watching it as close as could be, everyone sees it, how can the refs watch that and not call it? It's like they're either corrupt or like not able to do their job. Negligent. There's the word. One or the other. Terrible. Jorge Arizaga, nice to see you guys. This should have been us. Let's bring it next year. Absolutely. Although we're going to do some of these, and guess what? We're doing NBA News Desk soon. It's going to be fun, and that's going to be a way for us to talk basketball, not just Jazz, but NBA, and we'll do all of it. Anyways, guys, that's all I got to say tonight. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. Some of them are in the chat. All right, big shout out to And1, Anton Warren, Kelsey Hamer, the Hammer, Ezekiel Raicibe, my man from Down Under, JT Buckets Wardell, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, Eric C. C stands for Champion, Donald Schooley, schooling all of us, Cody Strickland, Strictly the Best, Super Mitt Robach. By the way, Mitt, go ahead and join the chat. It's like 4 or 5 of us in that all-star chat. It's really cool. We got to do that, by the way. We will get that set up for July. We're middle of the month. We got to do it, though. DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arizaga, Mi Amigo de Abajo, Lee Christensen driving the lane, Ryan Perry, the legend, Justin Time, Justin Ty H, Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur, Robert Hall of Fame Hall, and DW Jazz going all the way. Like I said, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. This was a fun game. I'm rooting for the Bucks, but you got to respect the Suns. I will talk to you next